Rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
Welcome back, everybody. Joining us now is the future First Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden. Dr. Biden, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, too.
Thank you.
You are historic in that you will be the First Lady with a full-time paying job. What is that, and why is that important to you?
Well, you know, it's hard for me to think of it in historic terms, I guess because I taught all 8 years while I was second lady. But I'm really looking forward to being First Lady and doing the things that I did as second lady, carrying on with military families and education and free community college, cancer that, you know, Joe and I have both worked on. And then and I'm going to teach as well.
Now, you once said in your own memoir, the role I have always felt most at home in is Dr. Biden. Now, some people have recently taken upon themselves to question that title of yours. Do you have any reaction to those people?
Yeah, that was such a surprise.
It caught me by surprise as well. I did not see that one coming.
No, nor did I. And, you know, it was really the tone of it that I think that, you know, he called me kiddo. And one of the things I'm most proud of is my doctorate. I mean, I worked so hard for it. And my, you know, Joe came when I defended my thesis. And, but, you know.
I got to hand her her doctorate on the stage, University of Delaware.
But
she had 2 master's degrees. She kept going to school all the time while teaching at night. And then what happens is I said, Jill, why don't you get a doctorate and make us some real money? She gets the doctorate and gets a $2,000 raise.
But look at all the people who came out in support of me. I mean, I am so grateful, and I was, you know, I was just overwhelmed by how gracious people were toward me.
Do you think it might be a little bit of a compliment that people were trying to think of something to criticize you about, and they were like, what do we got? I got it.
Okay, I'll take it that way.
Now, what about you, as a husband who loves this person? Did you ever, you know, want to like get out a length of pool chain and go full corn pop on these people?
The answer is it's
no.
close.
The answer is no.
No, but there's some of these, anyway.
It was just the tone of it.
I've been suppressing my Irishness for a long time.
It's always a smart thing to do. Now, the inaugural, obviously, is, I don't know how many days away. I bet one of your staff knows. How many days away is it? What?
34.
34.
Oh.
Send that girl a box of steaks. She got it right. So 34 days from now, Mr. President-elect, you first ran for this job 32 years ago. I got to think you've been imagining what that day was going to be like for a long time. What's it going to be now in reality? How does that match your original image?
Well, the truth is, I hadn't thought about it in a long time, for real, because we didn't plan on, after Bo died, I decided I was a professor up at the University of Pennsylvania, had an institute at the University of Delaware, and it wasn't until those folks came out of the fields down in Charlottesville that I realized something had to happen. And what happened was, quickly our granddaughters asked for a meeting. They came to see us, and grandson, and said, "You got to run, Pop." And that's when we decided to run. But it's been more a sense of how can I say it? A sense of obligation than wanting to live in the White House. It's about changing. This is not who we've been. The country we've been the last 4 years is not who we are. And we have to get back to who we are. We are a democracy. We are a democracy that has shown respect and decency and been a beacon to the rest of the world, and we were losing that.
Well, what about the event itself? What's going to happen at the inaugural? Have those plans been solidified yet? I know that you'll be holding the Bible.
I'll be holding the Bible.
And have you been working out?
I was actually looking for it today.
Have you been working out? Because this is the size of your family Bible.
1893.
1893. Why is your Bible bigger than mine? Do you have more Jesus than I do?
No, I don't think so. But it's just been a family heirloom on the Biden side of the family. And every important date is in there. When my son, for example, every time I've been sworn in for anything, the date has been on that, and it's inscribed on the Bible. Our son's, when he was sworn in as Attorney General, all the important dates in our family going way back, and it's just been a family heirloom.
Yeah.
Do you There's been speculation by some about whether your predecessor will attend, as is traditional, your inaugural. Does it matter to you whether he does?
In a personal sense, no, but in a sense relating to
History, right?
history, in terms of we've been the beacon of democracy for the last 200 years, and the peaceful transfer of power, and the power being handed from one person to another, one party to another, is who we are. And that's the part I worry about, is how that reflects around the world. And so, but that's the only standpoint from which I don't take it personally, but I do think it affects the view of the rest of the world as to who we are.
So for the good of the country, it would be a better thing to have happen.
I think so.
It seems like as long as the both of you have both been in Washington and weathered the slings and arrows of that town, you're about to step into something completely different right now. And as you've known, people who you thought that you could rely on sometimes turn on you. What are you going to do, and how will you sustain each other for the attacks that you know are coming your way? I mean, case in point, I know you want to be as bipartisan and reach across the aisle, but as much as you don't want it to happen, you know that the people who want to make hay in Washington are going to try to use your adult son as a cudgel against you. How do you feel about that, and what do you have to say to those people?
Well, look, we have great confidence in our son. I am not concerned about any accusations been made against him. It's used to get to me. I think it's kind of foul play, but look, it is what it is, and he's a grown man. He is the smartest man I know. I mean, in sort of pure intellectual capacity, and as long as he's good, we're good.
As a father, I understand that, and I admire that. But I mean, in terms of your job as president, can you reach across the aisle to people who will be using this as an attack on you when it is such a personal attack because it's about family?
But if it benefits the country, yes, I really mean it, because we know who we are. You're
a better man than I. I'm not sure if I could do that.
Don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean I'm not angry. It doesn't mean I wasn't angry, and it doesn't mean if I were back in the days in high school, I wouldn't say, "Come here," and go around. But
you have to take the high road.
And because look, there's so much at stake, and the American people, I think they can smell the phoniness, smell what's true and what's not true, and I just. But what it does do, a couple of people who have, there's just been a disappointment. I feel badly for them. I'm not being facetious.
People we thought were our friends.
I feel badly about what's happened. What went wrong? What's going on here? And because anyway, I just, and look at the people who've stepped up. Look at all the Republicans who stepped up in this campaign. Former office holders. John McCain's wife, people who went out there who were hold public office, were major Republican figures, the former chairman of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot more good than there, but my job, I'm not kidding, Stephen, I'm going to be judged by history, whether or not I can make things better for the American people. And I will deal with anyone if what we're working on is improving the well-being of the American people. That's not phony. It's real. I'll swallow hard, and I'll do it.
We have to take another quick break, but stick around, everybody. We'll be right back with President-elect Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden.